I'd like to tell you about a clinical research trial which is studying a new investigational drug to treat the symptoms of rheumatoid arthritis. If you have rheumatoid arthritis and have ever received IV or injection treatments for at least 3 months, you may be able to participate in this study. People who qualify and decide to participate in this trial will receive study-related drug, medical care, laboratory work, and evaluations, all at no cost. To learn how to participate, please call this number today.
Top stories on a Tuesday morning. Cruise ship pulling into New York Harbor carrying some very sick passengers. Officials say about 300 people came down with a Norwalk-type virus.
And ferry service from Long Island City to Manhattan back on track today. New York Water Taxi takes over service from Hunters Point, dropped last week by New York Waterway. And police are hunting for the gunman who shot a Brooklyn man in the head as he tried to climb onto a float at yesterday's West Indian Day parade in Brooklyn. Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to Today in New York. It is the 2nd of September, 2003, Tuesday morning. Good morning. I'm Maurice Dubois. And I'm Darlene Rodriguez. We'll have those stories for you just ahead. First, we're going to talk to Audrey about the forecast.
All about the R word.
Yeah, rain is the word for the day today. Have your rain gear ready because we are going to see a lot of wet weather in the area today, and it's going to stick with us for the next couple of days. Let's look outside right now. We're waking up cloudy, cool, and damp in the tri-state area. In Central Park, we have 63 degrees at this hour. It's a cool morning around most of the area. We're at 59 in Newburgh and White Plains this morning. And looking at next Rad 4, we are picking up some heavy rain now coming through north central New Jersey, heading in towards Essex County, moving through Morris County this morning, moving into Union, and it is moving eastward. So we're probably going to get some heavy rain here in the 5 boroughs and just southern tip of Rockland and Westchester counties, moving into Fairfield over the next couple of hours. It's a cool morning, 59 in Newburgh and White Plains, 63 in Newark, warm down towards Atlantic City. They're south of the stationary front that's over us, so they're checking in with 74 degrees. Have the umbrella gear handy. We'll have, or rather, weather gear. That'll include your umbrella and your raincoat and galoshes if you have those too. We'll have periods of rain today with a high struggling to reach 70 degrees. We'll probably stay in the upper 60s around most of the area. And then tonight, scattered showers with lows back into the low 60s. And coming up, I have your 5-day forecast. The rain is going to stay with us for a couple of days, but I'll let you know when it's going to end coming up in a few minutes.
Okay. Thank you, Audrey. Now to the news this morning. Right now, a luxury liner is pulling into New York Harbor after a cruise that was unforgettable for all the wrong reasons. Hundreds of passengers ended up sick at sea. Joe Avalar at Pier 92 on the west side with the ship dead in his sights. Good morning, Joe.
Oh, good morning. It's not seasickness, Maurice. It's something called a Norwalk virus or Norwalk-type virus. Imagine spending 2 weeks on the high seas, left Copenhagen on August 18th, and after about 2 days, many of the people began to have diarrhea, vomiting, cramps, fever, absolutely miserable. They had this Norwalk-type virus, and it's highly contagious. It's spread among 320 people, and by the way, that's the ship that they were on. That's the Regal Princess. It is just pulled up, or just as docking as we speak, and those people will be coming off within the next few hours. Well, here's more about what they've got. This is a picture of the germ that may be infecting hundreds of people aboard the Regal Princess cruise ship. It's a strain of Norwalk virus, also called norovirus, which causes 2 days of diarrhea and vomiting, and it's highly contagious. There are 2,000 people aboard the Regal Princess. More than 320 of them may have the virus. A similar virus struck the Regal Princess cruise ship back in 1998. That's when these pictures were taken. At that time, 115 passengers became sick with a stomach flu. Now, according to a passenger's email to the New York Times, many passengers and crew have been quarantined, while remaining healthy crew are disinfecting like crazy. The ship left Copenhagen August 18th. It made stops along the British and Irish coasts. Passengers reportedly began getting sick on the 2nd day of the cruise, and the illness spread quickly as the ship crossed the Atlantic, so the cruise was cut short, skipping Newfoundland and headed to New York. And as you can see, it has arrived here in New York Harbor at Pier 92, right here at 52nd Street. Now, if you come also to another camera, you can see that there was an ambulance just a moment ago. You can see it they've turned their lights off, but there were 2 ambulances waiting. Don't know how badly they're needed, but there is no treatment for this Norwalk virus. The good news is it is not normally life-threatening, except for the very old, already infirm, or the very young. Again, not normally life-threatening, but highly contagious. It'll last several weeks, and it will make you absolutely miserable. One other bit of news about this is the CDC will be on board. Officials from the CDC will be on board that ship, making sure they clean it up. They're going to use strong bleach to clean up the ship, and then it sets sail again on Thursday to take another boatload of people, this time to Canada. What's happening here. Back to you.
Okay, Joe, thank you. Also today, changes for some ferry passengers who cross the East River and the Hudson River. Ida Siegel's in Hunters Point with the story. Ida, good morning.
Good morning, Darlene. Well, the fear originally here in Queens, we're talking about ferry service in Queens and in New Jersey, but first we're going to talk about Queens. The fear was there would be no ferry service whatsoever because the New York Waterway Ferry Company that provided service here for years was pulling out. They said they couldn't make any money here. Well, another competing ferry company did pull in. They're called the New York Water Taxi, and this morning the very first New York Water Taxi actually pulled out at 6:12 in the morning. The difference here, they run every 30 minutes. Apparently New York Waterway ran every 15 minutes, but the commuters tell us that they're just grateful to have their ferry service because it beats driving through the tunnel and sitting in traffic in the morning. Now, that's the good news here in Queens. There's other news that we told you about over in New Jersey. New York Waterway is still handling the ferry commuters over in Jersey, but there is a fare hike. It's only affecting the folks who have the 10-trip monthly passes. Their fares are going to be going up by 13%, we're told, and that's because New York Waterways says that their operating costs have gone up, including fuel and insurance costs. The other thing, they say they've added new boats and new buses, and all of those things cost money, and the costs are now being transferred to the customers. One-way trips, we should tell you, on New York Waterway coming from New Jersey are staying the same, so if you're just going to and from this morning, then you should be okay. But if you do have those monthly passes in New Jersey, you'll be paying more. Once again, good news here in Queens, ferry service for those commuters, and it is up and running this morning. We're live reporting from the Hunters Point Ferry Terminal in Queens. Ida Siegel, Today in New York.
Ida, thank you. Another big story to tell you about this morning. Police in Brooklyn hunting for a deadly shooter, just one of two criminals who turned a joyous Brooklyn parade violent. Police say Anthony Bartholomew of Brooklyn was shot in the head as he tried to climb onto a float at the West Indian American Day Parade. Gang warfare, police say, may have been involved. Bartholomew died early this morning in the hospital. The shooting sent spectators scrambling for cover while the gunman is still at large. Also along the parade route, another man was stabbed about 90 minutes later. He is now listed as stable. Police have arrested a suspect in the stabbing. The violence briefly stopped the parade in its tracks, but that didn't take away from the brilliant spectacle along Eastern Parkway. Ironically, yesterday's celebration was dedicated to the late City Council member James Davis, who was shot to death at City Hall in July.
You may see a parade on wheels of firefighters today, calling for the reopening of 6 fire companies. The firefighters' caravan should take them to Engine Company 36 in Harlem, as well as 2 others in Cobble Hill, Brooklyn, and Long Island City, Queens. Firefighters tell Newsday that response times in those areas are dramatically longer now that firehouses are closed. The city says the firefighters' unions are distorting the numbers.
Also in the city today, First Lady Laura Bush will be here to promote a program that helps to educate teachers. Former educator herself, Mrs. Bush will visit Mercy College in Manhattan. That's where they've initiated a program called Teaching for Results. It's an extensive and intensive 2-year curriculum aimed at getting new teachers their master's degrees and teaching certification.
Drivers are giving hands-free cell phones a thumbs down. Coming up, what some say they're willing to go through to continue their calls.
And we'll take a peek at real estate for the elite. We'll show you how the wealthy can afford to live in the Big Apple, and the rest of us can just sit there and watch. We'll be right back.
They're out there, the bands, and they're looking for you. NBC4's world premiere of Mic'd Up, Sunday, September 14th. Are you in?
An anniversary is something you never want to miss, especially this year. The Lincoln Mercury Anniversary Clearance ends September 2nd. Don't miss end of the model year savings on every Lincoln and Mercury, including Lincoln Navigator, the new Lincoln Aviator, the sporty Lincoln LS, and the best Lincoln Town Car ever. Yours for $469 a month for 38 months with $16.99 cash due at signing. The Anniversary Clearance ends September 2nd at your Tri-State Lincoln Mercury dealer.
Another diet bites the dust?
Actually, no. That's not a diet. It's Weight Watchers. I mean, I can't eat this stuff 24/7. There are limits.
Weight Watchers introduces new Flex Points. The points let you lose. The Flex lets you live.
So do you feel, restricted? Do I look restricted?
New Flex Points. Start flexing, start losing. Join now while registration's free. Weight Watchers. Real food, real life, real results.
NBC4 invites you to check out the current hits of Broadway and get a sneak peek of the upcoming season. Join hosts Nathan Lane and Jane Krakowski. Toys R Us presents Broadway on Broadway, September 9th at 7 on NBC4.
Good morning, 6:40. There you have the inbound side of the Lincoln Tunnel. People getting up, getting back to work on this Tuesday morning, and it's a chilly 62 degrees out. A disturbing new report says many drivers would rather risk a ticket than go hands-free on their cell phone. A review of records from 4 upstate New York communities shows about half of the cell phone using drivers got headsets around November 2001. That's when the hands-free law was first enforced, but now compliance is way off. Experts tell Today's Times drivers don't see people getting tickets for breaking the law, so they ignore the regulation.
And they're always the one blocking the way and weaving all over the place.
Time to get it. Yeah,
right.
It's just not smart.
So you know who you are.
Yeah,
get a
right.
headset. Get a life.
That's right. That's right.
Meantime,
Get that umbrella too.
yes,
While you're
it's
at it,
ugly.
Yeah, you're going to need that today. We have a lot of rain coming through the area. Now we're picking up pockets of heavy rain moving through northwest or northeast New Jersey. Let's look at that outside right now. We're at cloudy skies in Central Park. Currently, it's cool out there. Temperature reading is at about 63 degrees this morning. Now, if we take a look at Doppler 4000, we're picking up areas of shaded in red. That's where we're seeing more moderate to heavy rain falling through portions of Passaic County, heading into Morris County, Essex and Union as well. This is parallel to the Garden State Parkway, so if you have to head out that way this morning, allow yourself plenty of extra time. It's going to be rough on the roadways. We're also picking up some light to moderate, also patches of heavy rain across portions of Rockland and Westchester County, and this is all moving eastward, so we're going to get most of this across the city and into Nassau County as the morning progresses. Looking at temperatures this morning, pretty cool out there. We're mostly in the 60s in a lot of places, but we're in the 50s up towards Monticello, where they're at 57 degrees. 59 is the current reading in White Plains, 57 in Danbury. Across Long Island, we're in the 60s in Islip and in Montauk this morning. A large plume of moisture is moving into the area. Most of the heavy rain is up towards the north of the city, that is. Central and southern New Jersey should remain mostly dry this morning, but we'll have on and off showers throughout the day today. This is all due to a stationary front that's over our area. We'll have centers of low pressure move along in it, and that's what's going to bring us a chance of showers on and off today, as well as tomorrow, and even into Thursday. So have that wet weather gear handy for the next couple of days. It's going to be a wet work week ahead. High temperatures today are going to be struggling to near 70 degrees. Tonight we'll drop back into the low 60s. Now tomorrow morning we should get a dry slot. Rain comes back in the afternoon, and Thursday looks to be wet again, as well as Friday morning, before we clear up and dry out by Friday night, and the weekend looking fabulous. Sunshine, 77 degrees as we go into Saturday. So a wet Tuesday, a wet Wednesday, a wet Thursday, and a wet Friday morning too.
Oh yeah.
A wet week. Be ready for it.
Get yourself a raft.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Thanks.
And some jet skis too as you get in the highway this morning, right, Trish? Right? What's the deal?
Absolutely, guys. Yeah, we're dealing with some areas of sporadic flooding, some large puddles on the road, so you want to be careful for that. Outer Bridge Crossing, Staten Island bound side, that remains closed down with an accident being cleared. And just heavy traffic delays this morning outside right now, Panasonic Skycam, and we've got slowdowns right now for you. Still on the southbound side of the Van Wyck, you can barely make it out through the fog, but southbound side, left lane only getting by at Union Turnpike with an accident being cleared. 2 jackknife tractor trailers involved. Here's the Grand Central Parkway right around LaGuardia Airport. Slow moving this morning. You can see wet roadway conditions and more slowdowns getting in towards the Triborough Bridge. Also on the BQE southbound side, got delays into the Manhattan Bridge with an accident being cleared. So lots to deal with this morning. Of course, extra travel time definitely key. Darlene and Maurice, back to you guys.
All right. Thank you. Otis here talking sports time.
Yeah, that's right. A little baseball. The Yankees get clipped by the Blue Jays while the Mets open up their series with the Braves in fine fashion. And we're going to talk U.S. Open with former Grand Slam doubles winner and current TV analyst Luke Jensen.
Plus, luxury apartments with a price. We'll show you some of the Big Apple's juiciest pieces of real estate when we come back.
Hey, there's Otis's house.
That's right.
Maybe the doorknob.
After years of analyzing, refining, and perfecting, Lexus engineers had to face the most difficult challenge of all: letting go. Introducing the new, more powerful, ES 330.
Contrary to popular belief, some reds go great with fish. It doesn't matter how you use a fork, and whoever said dessert has to come last. This is Vermont, where it's okay to stare and make faces. In short, live life with a lot of color. Fall, it's our season. Call 1-800-VERMONT or go to VermontVacation.com. Vermont, home to the farmers who own Cabot, makers of the world's best cheddar. Available throughout Vermont or in a store near you.
This week, Saddam's sons. New information about how they were found. Also making the grade. A special series on America's schools. NBC Nightly News this week.
After 6 glorious years, 4 Tony Awards, and more than 2,000 performances, Cabaret must say goodbye. Don't miss it. Call today.
What time is your flight?
10 o'clock.
10 o'clock? Hold on. What terminal are you at?
It's Terminal 4.
4?
Thanks. Welcome to JFK. Thanks. JFK, no. Honey! LaGuardia.
What?
LaGuardia.
Nothing handles the tri-state like an E-Class. We understand. We live here, too.
6:46. You can barely see the belt through all the fog and rain, but that's just how it is today and the next few, so get ready, give yourself some extra time. To New York's real estate, it's prime real estate. It's more expensive than ever, but just how much are people paying for their luxury apartments? Nobody we know, right?
I was going to say we wouldn't know.
I have no idea.
Lifestyle contributor Catherine Eisman is here with a look. Good morning.
Good morning. Now, this was a very hard job to cover. Some beautiful, beautiful apartments. I didn't want to leave. Now, do you have $10 million in the bank and nowhere to sleep? Well, Robbie Brown, the real estate agent behind the sale of New York's most expensive apartment, showed us around some of New York's most exclusive and most expensive real estate. Take a look.
Hi, now show me around this amazing space.
Well, this is a 7,000 square foot loft down here in Tribeca, New York's coolest new neighborhood.
And for a mere $7.2 million, you can buy yourself this architecturally designed, cutting-edge 3-floor penthouse, complete with 8 rooms, 4,000 square feet of landscape terraces, private interior elevator, floating walls, 12-foot ceilings, 12 wood burning fireplaces, oversized windows, rooftop deck, hardwood floors, uninterrupted views of the city and the Hudson River. But for all its magnificence, what kind of people can really afford this?
Rap stars, to bankers, people who want to come, people from Park Avenue who want to get out of the sort of traditional standard apartments up there into something really glamorous and clean with views.
For an apartment of this caliber, you can expect to pay anywhere between $1,000 and $3,000 a square foot. While it may sound like a lot of money, for others, it's money well spent.
I love architecture. And when paintings sell for $30 to $70 million, and you can get a fabulous apartment for substantially less, why not have that? Or have both?
With that in mind, why not shell out a few million more and buy yourself a $10.5 million uptown pad?
This is the living room of this 9-room apartment, 31 by 18 feet, working fireplace. But the major feature here are these picture windows on Central Park West.
For the extra change, you buy yourself 4,000 square feet of luxury. This majestic space boasts an impressive marble lobby, 24-hour doorman service, oversized rooms, and grand windows with full city and park views. Can it get any more expensive than New York?
We're 4th.
Really?
Yeah, Tokyo, Hong Kong, and I believe it's London are more expensive, which would be hard to imagine.
And for more information where to find these exclusive apartments, just log on to our website, WNBC.com.
So, being a real estate agent, nice gig, huh?
I was going to say, what are we wasting our time here?
Pretty nice gig. Now I have a silly question, I think, because I don't know. Do you get the furniture?
I asked that. I said,
I mean,
you would think,
you
right?
have to renegotiate. No, you don't. Can you believe it? Some of those pieces are actually from the 20s original. So that, you know, who knows what that'll cost you. A few more million, though. Once you're, paying over $7 million, I think anything else is a walk in the park.
I guess if you have to ask that question, you can't afford the place.
That's the wrong question.
If you have to ask, you can't afford it.
How much mileage on that car for $200,000?
Right, exactly.
Same kind of thing. All righty.
Thanks,
Thank you, Catherine. And no, that wasn't Otis's doorknob in that house, was it?
No.
I thought that was his apartment.
Not even close.
A pillow, maybe?
There you go. Door knocker or something? Yeah. All right, let's talk a little baseball. The news on Jose Reyes' sprained ankle, not good. The Rookie of the Year candidate could miss the final 4 weeks of the season. Game 1 of the series with the Braves yesterday tied at 2 in the bottom of the 7th. 2-1 for Timo Perez. He sends one to the gap. Andrew Jones makes the sliding grab, but Roger Cedeno scores to give the Mets a 3-2 lead. Braves load the bases in the 8th with David Weathers gets Johnny Estrada to ground into the 1-2-3 inning-ending double play. The Mets hang on for the 3-2 win. Yankees didn't fare as well. David Wells rocked by the Blue Jays, down 2-1 in the 5th. Eric Hinsky doubles to left center. Chris Woodward scores. Wells gave up 5 runs through 7 innings. And this was no holiday for the Yanks as Roy Halladay went the distance to get his 18th win of the year. 8-1 Blue Jays the final. Wells takes the loss. The Red Sox took advantage, beating the Phillies. The lead now 4.5 for the Yankees. Well, the U.S. Open pretty much rained out yesterday as we head to championship weekend. Jennifer Capriati, Justine Henin Ardenne, winners in the only 2 matches of the day. Joining me now is 1993 French Open doubles champion, along with his brother Murphy, and current analyst for ESPN and Fox, Luke Jensen.
Well, NBC. Throw in NBC.
Yeah,
Come on. Yeah, that's right. I'm here. That's right.
Yeah, that's right. Thanks for joining us. First off, you were in the house. Yeah. Opening night, Pete Sampras, emotional ceremony. Give us a little feel of that. I mean, that's a Pete Sampras we're not used to seeing.
Absolutely. A guy who's very shy, just puts it on the court. 14 Grand Slams, 7 Wimbledon titles. A guy who came through that McEnroe-Connors era who said, you know what, I'm not going to be like those guys throwing my rackets. I'm going to be a nicer champion. I'm going to be about performance. The guy, probably the greatest player who ever played, maybe behind Rod Laver. Just a quality guy.
Pete assures us that he's not going to pull a Michael Jordan and come back. So who takes the mantle for the next group of Americans? Is it Andy Roddick?
Andy Roddick and James Blake, Marty Fisher, a lot of good players, but Andy Roddick is the hottest guy on the circuit right now since taking Andre Agassi's old coach Brad Gilbert in June. He's been 33-2. He's 23-1 on the hard court season and playing with a 149-mile-an-hour serve. Very good stuff.
Agassi's only dropped 29 games and won his 3 matches in a minimum 9 sets. So the old guy's not going to give it up.
Otis with the stats.
I'm just overflowing with him. So it looks like the old guy's not going to give it up either, though. No Serena, no Venus, a hobbling Lindsay Davenport. Who's in the driver's seat on the women's side?
Well, it's so hard to say. Mary Pierce, a Grand Slam champion at the Australian, at the French, you know, an outsider. There's so many solid players, great storylines if you look down the list. And today's the day to go. Normally, we only have like a page. I don't know if you can see this. And there you go. Kim Clijsters, who's the #1 seed. She's playing today. Because of the rain, we usually have just one set of matches. We have doubles, seniors, mixed, juniors. We have the best of the best. If you're going to be a tennis fan, today's the Agassi and the best. It's so cool to watch tennis today.
And you're fired up about this.
I am fired up. It's like 6:30 in the morning.
And there's plenty going out there at the National Tennis Center for kids, too.
Absolutely. There's a Smash Zone where they've had record crowds going in. Over the 14 sessions, they've had over 380,000 people. That's a record-setting attendance for the U.S. Open. And even though we are missing the Williams sisters and Pete Sampras, tennis continues to move on. I mean, there's so many things. This weekend, the 6th and 7th, the final Saturday and Sunday, $5 grounds passes to go watch the juniors and the seniors play. You can't get into the big house, but on the Lincoln Mercury Jumbotron, you can see the match in the big house from the food court. So lots of cool things going on.
Quickly, your predictions.
Oh, I really like Andy Roddick. I mean, yes, Andre Agassi, 33 years old, the #1 seed, the oldest #1 seed in U.S. Open history. But I think Andy Roddick has so much confidence. On the women's side, Lindsay Davenport's going to retire with the U.S. Open championship.
All right, we'll take a look and see if you're right. Thanks for joining us this morning. Darlene, Maurice, back to you guys.
What kind of coffee are you drinking, Luke? Some good stuff, huh?
There's some good stuff.
Drink some of that more often for us. All right, thanks, guys. Let's go across the street, see what Katie Couric's up to. Good morning.
Hey, Maurice and Darlene. Good morning to both of you. Well, coming up this Tuesday on Today, Senator John Kerry is making it official. We're going to ask him how he plans to run against 8 other Democrats to win the right to challenge President Bush for the White House. And the recall election in California is also kicking into high gear. We're going to tell you what Schwarzenegger, Bustamante, and the rest of the crowded field are up to. We'll also have an exclusive interview this morning with the parents of that teenager who was charged with spreading the blaster worm that recently damaged thousands of computers. On a lighter note, we're going to go inside the Beatles' first tour of the U.S. with someone who was there 40 years ago. Plus, David Spade, his new movie, and Chris and Sunny are going to stop by just a day before they tie the knot out on the plaza. We're going to see how they're doing when we get started in just a few minutes here on Today. Maurice and Darlene, back to you two.
Hey, welcome back to you, by the way. I wasn't
Thank
here
you.
last week either, so.
Oh, did you have a nice vacation?
Wonderful. And yourself?
Yeah, it was nice. I'm glad to be back, though. Sort of nice to feel like I'm back to school, you know?
The first day.
Yeah.
All right.
Nice to see you, Katie.
Thanks. See you guys.
All right. And we will be right back.
Sure.
The 2003 Lincoln LS V8 and BMW 540i recently went head-to-head in a series of handling tests. The result? The LS V8 outslaloms, outcorners, and has better handling performance than a BMW 540i. Lincoln LS V8 Sport with moonroof, just $379 a month with $19.99 cash due at signing. See your tri-state Lincoln Mercury dealer.
V8 Splash Smoothies. A refreshing fruity blend full of vitamins, calcium, and a splash of soy protein. It's the energizing nutrition you need to do what you love to do. V8 Splash Smoothies. Drink smarter.
Women are changing menopause with Femring, the first and only vaginal estrogen replacement therapy to treat moderate to severe hot flashes, night sweats, and vaginal dryness in menopause. Just one dose lasts for 3 months. No pills, no patches, no creams. Femring. Femring is not for everyone. You should not use Femring if you have unusual vaginal bleeding, a history of certain cancers, blood clots, have had a stroke or heart attack in the past year, or if you are nursing, pregnant, or want to become pregnant. Common side effects with Femring include headache, irregular vaginal bleeding or spotting, breast tenderness, and abdominal cramps. Other serious but less common side effects of estrogens include breast or uterine cancer, cardiovascular disease, and stroke. Femring does not contain progestin. Change your menopause, not your life. Ask your gynecologist if Femring is right for you.
Closed captioning provided by Chevrolet. If only everything was as dependable as a Chevy.
It's 3 minutes before 7 a.m. Let's check the biz one final time with Nanette Hansen. Good morning.
Maurice, welcome back. Good morning. Good morning, Darlene and everybody. They're back at it at Wall Street this morning after the long holiday weekend. The Dow begins the session at 94.15, picked up 41 points Friday. The Nasdaq was up 10 points and the S&P was up 5 points. The board of the French company Vivendi Universal is meeting today to discuss the future of its entertainment business in the U.S. Officials say NBC, our corporate parent, has the edge in the long-running auction for the properties, which include Universal Film and TV Studios. Futures looking strong. Send it back to you guys. Have a good day.
All right, you too, Nanette. Thank you. Hundreds of sick cruise ship passengers are back in port this morning in New York, and Joe Avalar's at Pier 92 on the west side. Hey, Joe.
Bet they can't wait to get on dry land. We're talking about some 320 people on the cruise ship that you see over my shoulder there. There it is, the Regal Princess. We also have other pictures of the Regal Princess. This ship left Copenhagen August 18th, and shortly after it left, people began to come down with what's called a Norwalk-type virus. What is that? That's cramping, diarrhea, vomiting, and it's spread. It's highly contagious. As I said, some more than 320 people have the virus, and they had to cut their trip short and come home to New York and get off that ship and seek treatment. That's what's happening here. Back to you.
Okay, Joe, let's talk about better.
Good afternoon. I'm Ernie Anastas. Starting today at 4:30, a shocking murder investigation in New Jersey. Poet laureate Amira Baraki says his youngest daughter was killed by her brother-in-law. Details are still breaking at this hour. We'll bring you the very latest in a live report. New developments in the missile smuggling plot. We'll tell you what happened in court today. CBS 2 cameras go for a ride-along as cops crack down on aggressive driving on a heavily traveled roadway. And the Big Apple is getting bigger. Some disturbing numbers about obesity at 4:30.
When people find out Breakstone's Cottage Doubles has half the sugar of yogurt, it leaves them in a dilemma. What to do with their yogurt? Breakstone's Cottage Doubles. Zenadrin EFX, the world's #1 diet supplement, presents swimsuit season.
Slip into something sleek and sexy and start strutting your stuff.
Zenadrin EFX can help make it happen fast and easy.
These real people are living proof of Zenadrin EFX's unsurpassed thermogenic power. Increase your metabolism and get dramatic results without ephedra.
So come on, start turning some heads with Zenadrin EFX, #1 in the world because it really works. At GNC and health food stores everywhere.
Get ready. Your experience on the internet is about to change. Because now, for the first time ever, Verizon Online DSL comes with MSN 8 at no extra cost. Now you can see, hear, and feel the internet like never before. Download big files in no time. Talk on the phone and surf at the same time. It's all yours for our new lower price of $34.95, so why not switch today? It couldn't be easier. Plus, you get more powerful parental controls for peace of mind. And sending enhanced emails is simple.
Verizon Online DSL, now with MSN 8 at no extra cost. Call 1-800-284-3146 or visit us online. That's 1-800-284-3146.
This is really powerful stuff.
Verizon. Make progress every day.
Now at KFC, get a big 8-piece meal for only $14.99. And you get 8 pieces of chicken, large mashed potatoes with gravy, large coleslaw, and 4 biscuits. Plus, KFC will give you a second large order of mashed potatoes and gravy absolutely free. Save now at KFC.
To purchase tapes or transcripts of your favorite Dr. Phil show, log on to drphil.com or call 866-4-Dr. Phil. That's 866-437-7445.